We're going to show you how to make some Muscadine wine. We're going to start the process today and go throughout each of the steps. I'm going to let my husband show you what we need and how we're going to go about starting to make our Muscadine wine today. Come join us.
So we've got about 30 pounds of Muscadine grapes that we picked. That's generally what I use. Some of the ingredients that we'll be using is 10 pounds of sugar. We've got some spring water. I don't use distilled water or any type of water that has chlorine in it. Just use spring water. I've got an elastic strainer bag that I got from Lowe's. We're using that. We've got some wine tannin. We've got some peptic enzyme, some yeast nutrient, some Campton tablets, and we've got some Easy Clean. And that's really the first step we're going to be doing is all the bucket and everything that we're going to be using today. We're going to clean them, make sure they're clean and doesn't have any type of anything that would hurt the grapes or anything else in the process. So we're going to get started. I'm going to try to take y'all through each of the processes of the different stages, because this is something that takes several months to do, to make. I'm no expert. I'm not. I've made a few over the year. Made a few batches. Everybody has their own special way. I just really want to show y'all a simple way. I'm not going to get technical. I'm not going to be measuring bricks or doing things like that. I just want to make a simple process of making wine. Okay, so we're getting ready to start the process of crushing the grapes. You don't want to put them in a blender. That'll cause the wine to be real bitter. You just want to use your hands, or I've got like a little tool here. What I'll do is I'll put some in the pan here and crush them up real good. One thing I want to add, these grapes are in a bag because I picked them last year and I put them in the freezer and froze them. From what I've read, you don't want to rinse the grape, whether you're using it right off the vine or whether you're storing it. They say you don't want to rinse it under water. You basically just want to use it as is. But anyways, back to, I'll put some in here, I'll crush them up real good, and then I'm going to put them in this bucket. I've got the bucket, I've sanitized it, I've put the mesh in the bucket, which I'll show you here in just a few minutes after I get all the grapes crushed up, what I'm going to do with that.
So pretty much this is the process of crushing the grapes before you put them into the strainer. You can just pour them into a bowl and crush them up with your hands, or if you have a big bowl and you want to use your feet, you can crush them up with your feet. You can also use a tool to crush them up, but we just use our hands and kind of mash them up. And then once you get done mashing them up pretty good, you take that bowl and you pour them into the strainer, and that lets all the juice out, and then you're just left with the pulp and the rind from the grapes.
Okay, so now that we've got the grapes crushed, got it in the bucket and bag, what I'll do is take a couple of zip ties and put around the top of it to where none of the actual pieces of grape will come out. I don't do it real tight. I want enough room in there to where later on, after this sets for the primary fermentation for about probably 4 or 5 days, then I'll lift this bag out and press it and squeeze out as much of the juices as I can.
Okay, so now that we have put the grapes in the strainer and strained them, we are going to make some simple syrup with sugar and water. And you will use the whole 10-pound bag of sugar with just enough water to dissolve the sugar. So you'll probably need at least one, maybe a little bit out of the other one. I'm going to put that one in. I've got my burner on high. Pour all of my sugar in. Okay. Now I'm just going to let that dissolve down and make a simple syrup out of that. Once that gets done, we're going to add that to the grapes and the juice that we already have in the bucket.
Okay, so now that we've got the sugar mixture ready, we're going to go ahead and add some other ingredients. So the pectic enzyme calls for 3/4 of a teaspoon, which is one of those. It calls for yeast nutrient, 5 teaspoonfuls. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the wine tannin called for 1 teaspoonful. Like that. Let's just kind of mix it up and dissolve it. Now, after we pour this in the bucket, we've also got to put the Campden tablets. You take 5 of them, and what I normally do is just put them in a Ziploc bag and crush them up and sprinkle them and put them on top. Mix it in with it. Get this good and stirred up, mixed up in it. Got a few clumps here. Now, I'll be honest, this is the first time that I've actually put those ingredients that I just put in here. I've made several batches of wine over the last few years, and I've never used it, and the wine's turned out fine. But a lot of the, if you Google a lot of the winemaking companies, they recommend putting those ingredients in, so I figured I'd try it. It wasn't very expensive. So now that we got that mixed up, I'm gonna go ahead and pour that in. Better do this so we don't spill it everywhere. What I'm going to do is go ahead and add some more of the spring water to make it to the 5-gallon. Okay, that's about right there. Now, like I said, I'm going to take these tablets, just take a spoon, just kind of crush them up. Now the only ingredient that we're not putting in is the yeast, the winemaking yeast. What we'll do is we'll cover this up and let it set for 24 hours, and then after 24 hours we'll add the packet of yeast. And then we'll let it sit for about 4, 5, 6 days. Kind of just mix that up a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to take just a clean towel or a sheet or something, put over it, and I'll put a bungee cord over it. Like I said, let it sit. We'll come back tomorrow and add the yeast to it.
Hey y'all, so it's been just about 24 hours since we started our process. We've kept it covered, and so now it's time to add the yeast. This is K1V1116 yeast. And so we're going to uncover, and then you just don't want to open it up, and kind of sprinkle that around. So you'll just sprinkle your yeast on top of your mixture until you've used the whole packet. Alright. So once you get done sprinkling your yeast, you'll want to come down for the next 5 to 7 days and stir it once a day. You want to keep it covered every day though. So you'll cover it back up, and we'll come down tomorrow and stir, and then we'll do that again for the next 5 to 7 days.
Okay, so each day I come down here, uncover it, and then I just make sure and I just stir it up a little bit. Another couple of days I'll be taking the bag out and then transferring it over to the glass carboy and putting an airlock on it till it gets finished fermenting. Okay, so we've let this ferment for about a week now. Usually they say about 70% of the fermentation takes place within the first week, where you just have a sheet or a towel covered. I've taken the bag out and I've squeezed it, all of the a lot of the juice out. So I'll throw this away, and I'm gonna let this set overnight, let it settle, and then I'll siphon it out into the glass carboy tomorrow, and then that's when I'll put the airlock, and it'll be there until it finishes fermenting and turns into good old wine. Okay, so yesterday we took the fermentation bag out. It has all the pulp and all the rest of the Muscadine grapes, and so we basically got the juice, and there's probably some sediment in the bottom. So we're going to transfer it into the glass carboy, and then that's where we'll put our airlock, and that's where it will stay until it's finished fermenting. Okay, so it's been about 7 weeks now since we started the fermentation process. We've also started some strawberry wine, but today we're going to be racking it from one container to the other. Basically, when you're racking it, you're just transferring it and hopefully leaving behind as much sediment as you can. So each time that you rack the wine, you get less and less sediment. So when you do finally bottle it, you don't have any sediment in your bottling. Okay, so we've racked the wine a couple times now, meaning that we've siphoned it from one container to the other and tried to leave as much sediment as we can. It's getting to where there's not much sediment. Now we're going to back sweeten it. The fermentation process is finished and done. We like a sweet wine. If you don't like a sweet wine, then don't add any sugar to back sweeten it. And again, I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. This isn't the way to do it, but is a way. Basically, I took about a half a gallon of spring water and put a 4-pound bag of sugar in it and melted it. And basically, I'm just going to start adding it to it, stir it up, and then tasting it just to see how it tastes until we get the right taste that we like. And that's what you should do. Okay, so it's time to bottle the wine. I've got the wine bottles laid out. Probably going to need anywhere between 25 to 30 bottles of wine for this. It's about 6 gallons here. We've racked it several times, getting as much of the sediment out as possible. Don't really see any sediment in the bottom of this. I've already crushed 5 Camden tablets and stirred in this. I've also added this super clear KC. It's a 2-part. Supposed to clear up your wine when you're bottling it. Got this right here. If you've never bottled wine, this is a good investment. It helps you fill the wine bottles up to when you're bottling them, and that way you're not trying to siphon this from that into a funnel and overflowing everywhere. And of course, when we get done filling them up, I've got a corker. I'll cork all of them and seal them off. So we've got most of our wine bottled and corked. I just want to show you, this is a pretty cheap corker you can buy at any wine supply stores. Basically put the cork in and then just put it over the bottle. And it corks it. Get another one, stick it down in there. There we go. So the next step is we're going to put some labels on them. You can go to about any label making site on the internet, or if you have a label maker, you can make them your own. The first batch that we made several years ago, we made our own labels, but they weren't waterproof, so if any water got on them, it pretty much ruined the labels. So from then on, we started ordering them to make sure that they're waterproof, so if you do get water on them, it won't mess the labels up. So once we get the labels on, we'll put them on and kind of show you the end result of the Muscadine wine making process. So we've got all the Muscadine wine bottled. Ended up with about almost 30 bottles of wine. Got them corked, got them labeled. So now to sit back and enjoy some wine. Thanks for watching.